Hello everyone, Mansi here. So, as we were discussing in the last lecture, we already have gone through the definition and use of functions, the concepts including declaration, definition, and calling, their syntaxes and examples. We have also elaborated both types of calling methods, that is call by value and call by reference, with their syntax and example. And we are now about to discuss the four cases which occur when we talk about functions with arguments and return values. So let's begin. Case 1, functions with arguments and with return values. This is the syntax for the declaration, calling, and definition. And as you can see, that arguments are also passed and value is not returned. So case 2 is function with arguments and without return value. This is the syntax for declaration, calling, and definition. And as you can see, the arguments are passed but no value is returned. And here you can see we have returned a value and also passed arguments. So this is case 2 where we have passed arguments but we haven't returned any value. Now consider this example. In this program, integer, array, and string are passed as arguments to the function. The return type of this function is void and no values can be returned from the function, because when we specify void means that we are not returning any value. If we might have returned here let's say integer, then it would say that we are going to return an integer value. So here it is void, so we aren't returning any value, and these are the arguments. So this is an example for case number 2. All the values of integer, array, and the string here are manipulated and displayed inside the function. So you can see these are the actual parameters and these are the formal parameters. Moving on, case 3, functions without arguments and without return values. And this is a syntax for declaration, calling, and definition. And as you can see, there are no arguments and no return value. And lastly, case number 4, functions without arguments and with return value. This is the declaration, calling, and the definition. And again, you can see there are no arguments but there is a return value. So let's take an example. In this example, there are no arguments as to pass to the function sum. So you can see we have created a function sum, but there are no values we are passing through it. No arguments we are passing. But values are returned from its main function, that is sum, because we are going to return this value. So values of the variable a and b are summed up in the function sum, and the sum of these values is returned to the main function, but we haven't specified any particular argument in the function here. So moving on, let us elaborate the last topic of this lesson, which is types of arguments. So there are two types of arguments. One is command line and another one is variable length. So command line arguments are used so that we can also input arguments from other shell scripts, because the main function if in a C program accepts the arguments from command line and other shell scripts by using these two commands here. One is argc and another one is argv. Now argc is used to tell the number of arguments in the command line including the program name, and argv is used to carry all the arguments. Now here is an example for the same. Try executing it. It will clear all the doubts about, it will just show the basic line of how argc and argv is used. Now variable length arguments. Variable length arguments is an advanced concept in C language that is offered by C99 standard. there was a different standard before, which was C89. In that C89 standard, fixed arguments only fixed arguments can be passed to the functions, and when a function gets number of arguments that changes at the runtime, we can go for variable length arguments. Otherwise, it would be preferable if we go for the normal arguments or the command line arguments. The variable length arguments are denoted as three dots, and they are used, they are actually predefined in the stdarg.h header file. So make sure to include this file if you are working with variable length argument functions. So this was all about function. Thank you for watching.